Have you had your etiquette classes yet?
No, we have not had our etiquette classes yet. Ladies, gentlemen, fellow cake lovers, I stand here before you to say that I stand with you, that I stand with cake. I think it has been very obvious over the last year that cake has been under attack by the mainstream media. And this has been very unacceptable. Every time there has been an issue, if it was Iran, if it was Mitt Romney's haircut, if it was something even more important, like Knesset members' etiquette classes, for whatever reason, cake was nowhere. We all know the link of cake and the weapons, as we learned, of eating disruption that can help us defeat Iran. We just had a presentation here today explaining what the importance is and how we defeat Iran with cake. And where is it? Why are we not hearing this? I know we have people among us here today who might be from the Jerusalem Post. You might be possibly from other places as well. But all I know is that cake is not mentioned anywhere. And this bothers me and my friends in the Knesset Cake Caucus. Now, there's been a lot of things said about us. They've said that because most of our members are people like Fuad, Binyamin Ben Eliezer, or former MK Shaul Yalom, or some of Ariel Sharon's children, that we're all a bunch of fat men that like to eat cake. And I object to that. We also have Marina Solodkin. If you didn't get that, you should watch some more news. We in the Knesset Caucus decided that this is the time to raise Knesset awareness. That's why we're very happy that this is the 4th annual Cake Conference here in Jerusalem, and we heard that it is spreading throughout the United States, from Baltimore all the way to Houston. So we know that cake awareness is among the future. And really, what I go ahead and I'm trying to tell you people here today is that without cake, where would any of us be?
Dinner.
Oh my God. I have no idea. Unfortunately, in the Knesset, people lean towards borekas. Fellow cake lovers, it bothers me as much as it bothers you. As a person who needs to eat borekas every day, because there is not a cake option. These are among the reasons we started the Knesset Cake Caucus. Cakes deserve rights. No, they're not. That's what I want to go against. I have heard a certain extremist minority who has said that we should not experiment on cakes. What is this? Are we living in such times? Or is it not modern enough? Are we not taking Western culture? Are we really saying that we're against experimentation? No. I saw a sign over there that said, "Say no to frosting." How dare you tell us to say no to frosting? No. If you don't want frosting, I will answer questions.
The cake should live or die on its own merits.
Someone please remove this man. I will not accept this. I will not accept this.
The cake must be free.
The cake will never be free. It will be in my mouth. You take that. You take anti-cake scum. It's these despicable acts, these pathetic people. These are the reasons why we need to raise cake awareness. Borekas? Is that what we need? Is that really what we want to send a message to? I can tell you, the South Korean ambassador came to the Knesset. to celebrate the 50th anniversary. And they put Barekas in front of him. This is a true story. And he looked at it, and he said, "What the hell is this?" Luckily, we had Marina Solodkin, who was willing to give half of her cake to the South Korean ambassador, and thereby save our nation. I'm telling you, the diplomatic fallout, which could have happened because of the lack of cake in our nation, was unacceptable. And it was the Knesset Cake Caucus that stood up and fought for cake rights. Thank you. What I want to ask you before I open it up to question is to say this. When you go, whatever political party you're in, the question I want to ask your MKs or people who are running on the list, what is your position on cake? That is what we want to know.
What is your position on cake?
I am the most pro-cake member of the Knesset. I have a clear record in cake consumption. Nobody comes close to me. Nobody. Except for maybe Fuad. But listen, it's not fair, you know, he's getting healthy. It's medication. It's medication. But yes, what I want you guys to do, I don't care what political party you're in, you need to ask your representatives, what is your position on cake? Because if we do not let cake be a political issue, we will continue to see the mainstream media ignore cake. We can't have this continue. Like we said, cake is the answer to all of our problems. If we know how to eat cake, Knesset members won't have to throw water at each other. They won't. Because the cake will just fill them up inside with such warm feelings, and they'll just really get along. And wouldn't that be great? And on the other side of it, we can use those weapons and defeat Iran. Yeah, so you be aware of cake, because it can be as destructive as constructive as it is. Now, at this time, I think it's fit to answer a couple questions, because I know it's not a political issue that is understood by most people. So I'm happy to answer any questions you have on that. First, I'll answer Mr. Hoffman's question.
Can you explain how Ariel Sharon has been in a coma now for 6 years and has not lost weight?
That's actually not true. He has lost a half a kilo.
He took his shoes off.
Listen, he had, it was written down. He said, in case I ever have a stroke, I want to know that I get my daily cake consumption. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. And I heard that there are certain people who feel that that's not right because it's coming out of your tax shekels.
Do they use the shoving method that we saw in the video?
I am not at liberty to discuss the methodology in which our former Prime Minister consumes cake. I can just assure you that he does, and I do not feel that you can link that to any sort of diet issue. You know, I've heard a lot of this, I'll tell you, Mr. Hoffman, from many people saying that, oh, I'm against cake because cake makes me fat. Well, I'll tell you that in the Cake Caucus of the Knesset, we've done extensive studies. We paid off a lot of people. Okay? And every one of these studies has shown that, in fact, if you eat a lot of cake, you will lose weight. Mr. Hoffman, your question offends me.
Question.
Yes, Ms. Driver.
Can you address the claims made by the Green Party that cake makes you fat?
I believe I just did. I will not accept anything that comes from small minority groups that don't even get any short knesset of the Knesset. Disgusting. Yes.
In regard to Iran,
Yes.
would we prefer yellow cake or layer cake?
I don't think this is the forum in which we should be discussing what the most destructive type of cake is. I think that's something we should leave for the Security Council. I think they'll be very happy to make those decisions, and we'll find out about it after the fact. Don't be surprised, ladies and gentlemen, when we suddenly hear that cake is what saved us from Iran. Yes, sure, John.
The Bartenders Association, can cakes be in cocktails, or is that no longer considered a cake despite having the word cake in its name?
Listen, I don't think we should discriminate against any form of cake, even if it's diet cake, or cake light, or just a mini cake. You know, I think there's room for all types of cakes. If there are such who pretend to be cakes, and you have a mock cake, if you will, I think that just helps our awareness. So I'd say like this, I think it's necessary, in fact, to put severe government regulation on the Bartenders Association to assure the quality of the cake. However, we should still allow in the meantime what we can.
How do you feel about recent allegations of racism by the chocolate activists complaining against the vanilla supremacists?
Listen, this is just the media trying to pick fights to delegitimize our cause. Everyone gets along together. Obviously, there's the occasional dispute. Look, there are certain people that look, like the mint guys, they're hotheads. There's nothing you can do about that, okay? And yes, the vanilla people can be very boring sometimes. Look, we find enough time, and we have enough, and look, we all get along together. Don't worry about that. Yes.
I think that your words are really inspiring.
Thank you.
I appreciate your passion, but
Yes.
do you have any kind of concrete plan to promote cake rights? It sounds to me like it's a lot of words without much action.
I'll refer you to the Knesset Caucus Cake Rights website, which has a 54-point plan on how we expect to bring to the next level cake awareness in Israel. Look, having this evening right here with all of you educating simple citizens on the issues of cake rights.
Simple?
This is, oh, I'm not saying about you, sir. I'm not saying that about you, I'm only saying about the people that I actually know in the audience. They're very simple people. But I really reject those claims. I can go on all 50 of them, but you know what, let's talk about a couple of them just off the bat because it's an important issue and there is a lot of substance. One is replacing all barekas with cakes in the Knesset cafeteria. Second of all, banning all of the anti-cake lobbyists from the Knesset. Such an important issue in our day. I mean, anyone who's watched the news the last few weeks, they know about that. All right. Besides that, what we also want to do is we want to have strict regulation from the government assuring cake quality.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to have a bad tasting cake. Oh, you frosting people. Frosting people. I can go on and on. Let's not waste time in there. I want to get a few more questions. Yes.
I would like to know what you intend on doing with regard to frosting awareness in Israeli society, because I feel that really parve cream or maybe a misken glaze, really this is an issue that's, it's just sad.
To me, frosting is really the icing of the cake. It's so essential to cake rights to really do that. That's why I have been very vocal against the anti-frosting people. I think they're parasites to the cake. I think they should be eradicated, thrown out, because they are really doing more harm than good. And I just, you know, look, it's this extremism that we have seen from Bet Shemesh. Rabbis, you know, for our last one was talking about certain rabbis saying that, you know, cake is bad because it can lead to such things. What? Have these rabbis been to any Malava Malkas? Have they been to Shalom Zachars? I don't understand. Cake is, if not parallel, if not above wine in Jewish customs. Yes.
This is a very serious question. In regards to Passover cakes, can they really be called cakes anymore if there is no flour?
I hear that. That is definitely a very, very important issue. We're discussing among ourselves. We don't have an answer on that. If you're asking my personal opinion, I think that it shouldn't be. I think that they're pretending. I think they're fakers. Okay? When I have a normal cake and I have a Pesach cake, I mean, Shemaim and Aretz people. Okay?
But are you contradicting yourself? You said it earlier that we should accept all cakes even.
No. Let me make something clear. No, let me make something very clear. Anybody here who has had a Pesach cake cannot try to compare that to any one of those cakes outside. Even the store-bought elite ones. Okay? Come on. It doesn't have flour. You can call a cookie cake and it's not cake.
Where does gluten-free cake stand
Yes,
then?
I was wondering, as a world-renowned expert and aficionado and consumer of cake, how do you feel about using oil instead of margarine?
Wow, you know, this has really been an issue of what I heard is a lot of health concerns. You know, this happened to me lately where I was cleaning out my sink, and I noticed that there was a lot of stuff coming out. It looked just like margarine when I took it out. I thought about that. I said, you know what? Maybe it's disgusting. I'm sure it happened to any of you who actually do that. So I looked at that and I said, you know what? You know, we shouldn't be dealing with margarine or oil. Let's use butter, people. Each and every one of them came out to say, if you eat cake, you will lose weight. Yes.
I would just like to ask, how do you feel about the use of the word cake in euphemistic language, as opposed to using it for its true meaning?
Look, I'm not going to judge somebody. I'm not going to judge somebody for how they want to use the word cake as long as it's in a positive light.
It's a four-letter word.
Look, it is. But listen, I don't think it's wrong to use it. You know, during the break, I was having a conversation with some people in the back, and they were talking about cake in the windows. A very interesting topic, and I was frankly surprised that none of our speakers was going to be talking about that tonight. But I think that as long as it's done in a positive light, I think it can be accepted.
Cake you!
That would be a nice example of what is not accepted. We still have time for more questions?
We should wrap it up because
we're out of
time.
Two last questions.
Okay.
I'll get a Feldman and someone else.
If elected, what will you do for cake awareness?
Look, I think that I've answered this in 50 different ways. There is no one in the Knesset that raises cake awareness more than myself. In fact, I encourage all of you in the next primaries in the Knesset Cake Caucus to vote for me for the new chairman of the Cake Caucus. All right? I think that I have listed here tonight several reasons of why I am the right candidate. Now again, I understand. Fuad, you can see that he's had a lot of cake over the years. But sometimes...
You said cake doesn't make you fat!
I didn't say that that's the reason.
It was the frosting! It was the frosting! If it wasn't the cake, it must have been the frosting!
Listen, Mr. Bet-Shemesh. Let me explain this to you. He's an older guy. You know, your metabolism slows down. He's in his 60s, 70s.
It must have been the Barekas.
It was the Barekas.
Well, we know that he's a big Barekas guy. You can check that out on Google. It's known for years. But that doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, why am I better than Fuad? Why am I better than Fuad? Because he has not done his job. All right? He's been the chairman for 20 years. Have we seen cake awareness? Maybe it's time to try somebody new, someone younger, someone fresh. I'm running over time, so one last question, and then I must go.
Jeremy, recently Gil Hoffman from the Jerusalem Post had the expose, which revealed that the same organization that does the studies showing that cake doesn't actually make you fat are the ones who say the cigarettes don't lead to cancer.
This is once again the mainstream media attacking cake with baseless allegations that have no concrete or even, shemets of any truth in it. I'll tell you something about people like that print stuff that don't have any facts. Okay? That is the exact type of thing that I expect to see from the mainstream media. I expect everyone to go into the blogs and to get your real cake information from there, because I don't think tonight we're going to see a headline in the Jerusalem Post or any other newspaper talking about this conference, and we just look at what an amazing turnout we had tonight, and I think that in itself is a sin. My closing remark to you is like this. Cake! 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 Cake!
Thank Jeremy Saltan.